It's 22nd of May. I have to admit to you that every episode of this podcast is a deeply traumatic experience. Every time I write an episode, every time I record it, and every time I edit it, I relive all the horrible things I have to talk about every single damn time. It really hurts because I have to constantly remember things I wish had never happened, remembering the deaths of friends, the captivity of those who served with me, the destruction, the pain, the tears, the countless people who can never be brought back, the time and the happiness stolen from us by the occupiers. It's very hard and very painful, and also I do this in my free time. I don't get this time to distract myself from the pain and the war, but instead I dive back into them to make another episode, and each time it gets harder. A few months ago, I gave up trying to make the podcast daily. I think I would have gone crazy if I had tried to keep it up that often. For a while, it helped me a bit. Doing it once, maybe twice a week, was easier than 4 or 5 times a week. But it turned out that it was not a solution. It's painful and hard, and each time I force myself to record the podcast, I don't really understand why should I continue to force myself to do it. I used to feel that I was making at least some impact on the general opinion abroad, but now I realize that this impact is very small, barely noticeable really. I used to be able to tell myself, yes, it's hard, but it's not in vain. Thanks to the podcast, you can pay for your daughter's education and help your parents. But that has long ceased to be true. I am very, very grateful to those who still support me, but I have to admit that this money has not been enough for a long time, so I'm torturing myself almost for free. I am very grateful to those who have sent me suggestions for improving the podcast. They are wonderful and interesting, but I just don't see a way to make them work in a way that fulfills any of the goals for which the podcast was started. I am afraid I won't be able to make them generate income, maintain my skills as a journalist, and be interesting for foreign listeners. I am sure that in any other situation I would grab onto these suggestions and at least try to do something with them. But now I'm very emotionally exhausted and simply unable to radically change the project. I am truly trying to save it. It is very dear to me, but it seems that I just don't have the strength for it. I'm so sorry. I really think only a miracle can save this project.